Everyone thinks when it comes to selling a home that it comes down to just price. And yes, price does matter, but price is just one of the three variables that we have to address when we're looking at selling a home. Today, we're going to talk about all three of those variables so you can understand as a seller what it takes to make your home successfully sell. Now, there are three variables, right? And they are independent of each other, but they also work together, meaning that if one of the three is off, it will affect the sale of your home. And that actually goes for buying too. If you're looking to buy a home, the same three variables apply to when you're trying to buy a home. All right, the first variable we're talking about is location. Now, they're not in order, but we're going to talk about location first. And location is the one that you can do nothing about. Your house is where your house is if you're a seller. Now, that can be to your benefit. It can be to your detriment, right? You bought it for a reason. Now you're trying to sell it. Does that location work? For example, if it's in a great subdivision that's close to, schools and shopping and transportation and everything you need, that's awesome, right? That's a great location. However, if it backs up to a busy 6-lane highway, and maybe it wasn't a 6-lane highway when you first got it, right? Because we all know how fast stuff is growing here in Round Rock. But if it backs up to a 6-lane highway, less desirable. Road noise, congestion, all those things. So location is one of the critical elements, and it's the one critical element that once you decide to sell, you can do nothing about it. And of course, as a buyer, location matters too, right? So do you work from home or do you have to commute to work? Those are two big variables. Are your kids going to school near where you're going to live, or are you going to have a fair amount of a drive to get your kids to school? If it's a great location, hey, if you work from home and you can work anywhere, then that location can have other variables and other factors kick in, which is awesome. But if you have to commute to work, say to Austin from Round Rock, then which subdivision in Round Rock you live in does make a big difference on your commute time for sure. Now, the next variable is the condition of the home. Is the home a fixer-upper or is it turnkey? Is it newer or is it older, right? Those are variables that you have to look at when you're going to sell a home. If the home needs work, how much work can you put into it before you sell? And how much is that work going to affect the price or value of the home that you're trying to sell? Because there are sometimes you have to do things to your home if you want to sell it to make it more sellable. And there's other times when you do things to your home to make it more valuable, and they're not the same thing. Painting your home, doing sheetrock repair, right? Fixing the millwork, that doesn't make it more valuable, but it does make it more sellable. So when you have a home that needs some work before you sell it, it's important to understand what work you need to do to get the value out of what you're doing. Not every project has to be done. And when I deal with sellers, a lot of times I will give you the straight. I'm super transparent. I'm like, don't waste your money doing that. The buyer can do that. You need to do this. It's super important. That's going to be a major negative if you don't fix that, whatever it happens to be. So in analyzing a home that needs work, it's super important to make sure you get the home in the best condition possible for selling it. Now, newer homes, not such a problem, right? Newer homes, you're looking at staging. You're looking to make sure it's clean, current, up to date. And the condition of the home when someone comes in makes a huge difference. If it comes in as staged and everything's nicely organized and it's clean and it doesn't look like it needs a lot of work, that people love that, right? However, then that factors into price, because price becomes another component of that, which we're going to talk about next. So the third variable, the one that everyone thinks is so important, and it's not that it's not important, but it's the one that people focus on, is price. So factor in those other two. If you've got a good location, right, or not a good location, and you're in great condition or it needs a bunch of work, you then factor your price into that. So running comps, a good realtor will actually run the right comps based on your home, based on all those variables, and give you an estimate of what the price should be. If you price it way above the comps, especially in today's market, you can be in for a long wait to sell that house. If you price it at the same as the comps, gives you a better chance. And obviously, if the condition of the house isn't good, maybe you price it below the comps because you want to sell and you don't want to actually do the work. So hopefully you can see how those three variables all intertwine with each other, right? Bad location, nothing you can do about it. Better make sure the price is correct and the condition of the house is correct, right? And you got to find out you have a much more challenging buyer pool if you're doing that. Great location, total fixer-upper, got to price it accordingly, right? It's super important. So great condition of the home, great location, price it according to the comps, gives you your best chance to sell, right? Overprice it, chase the market down, or like in this case in 2026 where we're at right now, it's challenging even when you price it correctly, even when it's in a good location, and even when the home's in good condition. There's a decent number of homes in the market, and the interest rates are, the low to mid sixes. So and of course the news is scaring people to death. So a lot of people don't think it's good. And if you saw my last video where I talked about the actual facts that are going on right now, if you're a buyer, if someone's a buyer, this is a good time to buy. If you're a seller and you have to sell, you just have to be smart about it. Look, my job is simple, right? We have a conversation. I walk through all those variables with you. I analyze your situation with you and give you the truth. It doesn't benefit me to tell you something you don't need to hear. So I give you the truth. You can take that information, make a decision, and we can do our best job to get your house sold, as profitably and as quickly as possible. Anyway, feel free to reach out to me, and my contact information is down below. Let's set up a time to talk, and I'd help you to sell your home. And hey, if you're a buyer and you're watching this, dude, the same thing applies to you, right? It does. You're looking for the best location, you're trying to find the houses with the best condition, and you're looking for the price that's actually the fairest price. So reach out to me, Jeff Miller, Greater Than Austin Real Estate. I look forward to talking to you all soon. Take care.